Well, we're right here at the Garden Tomb in Israel. This is where we started digging with my father, Wyatt. When we first came here, it was full of garbage and trash and broken glass, dead animals. And my dad kind of went to the people here and he said, hey, I would like to clean that out for you, is how we started it. And so we cleaned it out, and then we sort of kept going. And we started finding pottery, and we found some Roman glass. And my dad believed that the Ark of the Covenant was in this area. We found 4 cross holes here, 3 up above. Over here, there's some cutouts in the rock where we think they may have placed signs that said, like, you know, where he was crucified, the King of the Jews, and the 2 thieves on either side. And then as we dug down, there was a big rock, a huge rock in the cave. And we climbed over it every day. And we started getting really sore knees and bruised up from it. And so one day I tried to move it, and it moved a little bit, and so I brushed it off. We always took turns. One guy would carry the buckets of rocks up and hand it to the guy on top. And so I was inside that time, and Dad was down further digging. And I brushed the dirt off, and there was a big plug in the rock. And you could tell it was stuck there. There was a crack all around it. We knew something was in it. And so I yelled at my dad to come up and take a look. And he did, and we pried up this rock, this plug out of the rock, and inside there was a Roman coin from Tiberius's time, which is the time of Christ, and which was very, very exciting to us. That when we did that, that was our last day on the dig that time, and we were going to fly home the very next day. And so we prayed about it, what we should do. Should we just leave it there and let somebody else come in and maybe take it or whatever, or not? And so we prayed, and shortly after that, very shortly, we decided that if we could move it, that we'd flip it over exactly in its place and just put some dirt back on it and leave it there. And it stayed there until last year, sometime around September. There were other people here digging to see if they could find the Ark of the Covenant or the chamber that it's in. And somehow they hoisted it up with a bobcat with a strap, and they lifted it up, and they don't know what happened to it, at least the last I heard. The other 3 cross holes on the other side of this dig, we don't know if they're still there or if they're torn up now also. We hope they're still there, because it would mean a lot to Christians everywhere to not have those destroyed, because it seemed just like how it's described in the Bible, with a thief on each side, or a murderer and a thief, and Jesus in the middle. And
we're pretty much convinced this is the place where Christ was crucified, and that's why we started digging. And my father did the dig to. The only reason he did the dig is to prove that the Bible's accurate, so Christians can, have a good foundation belief in that the Bible's true, and that's why my father's digging. He wasn't doing anything for money. He was doing it to get the truth out. And
the whole reason my dad got into archaeology at all was because he didn't like people, how they would do away with the miracles, like the Red Sea crossing site and Noah's Ark and things. They say that the Red Sea crossing happened in the Sea of Reeds, which gets ankle deep sometimes, and that a flash flood killed all these people, the whole Egyptian army. And it was ridiculous to my father, and it made him angry that people would make up things like this with no evidence whatsoever. It's just guessing with seemingly no motive to think that. We dug many years here.
When you dig here, you dig the big hole, but when you found the cross hole, you have to crawl under, because the hole was not that big as we can see here today. So you have to crawl under the earth?
Yes, we went down, straight down here, where this little dip is in the rock, and there was a handle carved out of the rock where you could put your hand in or a rope and grab it. And so we went straight down, and we started coming over this way towards the chapel a little bit. And then we decided no, because it was all loose stuff, and it wasn't, it seemed like we found more like broken pottery and trash this way, but we went along over that way because of the 3 cross holes that we found.
So you were crawling under the
earth, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, we didn't have it tall enough to stand. We had to crawl, and it was very dirty, and the hole filled up with flies and mosquitoes, and it was very hard work.
But then you did something strange. You just broke into the mountain.
Yes, we went along under the ground right beside this mountain here. And we didn't know exactly which direction to go. And we saw some roots coming out of the actual side of the mountain, you know, which seemed very strange to us, because there would have to have been some chamber behind in there for a root to be coming out. And so we started prying on this crack, and then a big hunk of rock fell out of the wall, like somebody had almost stuck it there. And inside that, you found the Tiberius coin.
Yeah, inside there. Which that was the second one we found.
The second one.
Yeah.
But actually, you found that first, didn't you?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right, because the 4th cross hole we found was down deep in the hole.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he found one Tiberius coin inside the mountain. The other Tiberius coin was, like I said, in the plug in the rock to date it, because that's how they dated things.
You didn't remove it?
We didn't, no.
We left it there. We did things carefully, you know, and made it neat and everything. And when we come back this year, we just look down in the hole, and it's nothing like it used to be. Like my brother said, they got a bobcat in here, and they tore up the
They
cross
just
hole,
dozed up
knowingly.
all the dirt.
So it's destroyed. So what do you have?
We think they pulled the one cross hole up, and it got thrown
we
away.
know they pulled it up, and
You saw it. So you were here the first year?
Yes.
It started here?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like September 2005, I believe. I was here digging with 2 archaeological groups that had to join together to do the dig because of the Israeli Antiquities Department. They just got tired of both of them arguing about it and said, you get together. And so we had 2 groups here, and we never even tried to dig for the 3 cross holes, which we had covered up with our fill dirt from our tunnel. We covered those up.
Why not?
Huh?
Why not?
Yeah, because
You don't have to answer.
we wanted to cover them up because of the significance of them, and to save them and preserve them. And we thought that if we left them out, that people would, whatever, maybe destroy them. People that weren't real good Christians might not want the proof that Christ was here. And the one in the center, the cross holes on the other side, had a crack all coming down from the whole side of the mountain where the earthquake happened when Christ died. It made a crack, and it went all the way down.
You saw the crack?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
And my father scraped a sample of what looked like really black, dark in the crack.
yeah.
And so Dad scraped it up and put it in a little black film container. And later on, people were thinking that the cross hole was down in the hole that had the crack in it. But that was pretty much their misconception about what Dad had said. And Dad didn't trust a lot of people with this because of its importance to everyone. And but anyway, we believe that that was a sample of Christ's blood, that when the soldiers stuck him in the side, that they hit his spleen, and that the water and the blood fell down through the crack and onto the mercy seat of the Ark of the Covenant, therefore fulfilling our salvation in his sacrifice. And
Did you crawl around in the mountain, or was that just your dad afterwards?
we dug into the mountain and cleared out a bunch of loose rock, and then we hit solid smoked quartz. And it was very, very hard digging. And after we started the dig, I ended up getting married, and for 4 years, so I didn't come over, and my brother and a couple friends came over and helped dig. Brian did a little, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Brian Karras. And
we set up 3 crosses and put up some signs just to give people an idea what it would look like.
And at that time, we believed that it was probably a very visible spot from the wall of the city, the old city of Jerusalem. And last year, I guess September 2006 is when they came back with the Bobcat and dozed up, and taking a look in the hole there, they've made a mess of it, really, in my opinion. And it looks like they're going to be covering it up soon, because they built framework in there to, looks like, to seal it back up, but it doesn't look like they're going to fill it with rock or dirt or anything. It looks like they're just going to cover it. So hopefully some other time, maybe somebody can come back and try to find the 3 cross holes that we originally found before we started the dig.
Do you think there will be anything to find left there now? Do you recognize anything when you have a look down there?
Yes, I recognize the hole we broke out of the side of the rock, the side of the mountain. And you can see part of the tunnel, our original tunnel going in, where it came in. And well, here you can see what they've done on their dig. The original hole that we went into the side of the mountain is the top hole here, if you can see that. And then we went downward through a lot of smoke
inside
quartz.
The hole?
Inside that hole, yes.
Okay.
And at first there's a lot of loose rock, but then we really had to start using jackhammers and chisels, and it was very, very hard work going down because of how hard the quartz is. And even the drill bits, some of the best drill bits that you can buy, couldn't penetrate the quartz, at least not at a very fast rate, and it always ruined the bits on the dig I was on in 2005. They've dug way out further than we ever were. We never dug this far out.
We stayed alongside the wall,
And we're not exactly sure why. Maybe they were trying to, they found a cistern down in here, an ancient cistern and some things, but as of yet they haven't found the chamber where the Ark of the Covenant rests. My dad said that when he saw the Ark of the Covenant, that the whole back of the room was glowing and sparkling, and what Dad said was that that was the smoked quartz, and the reflection of the gold off of it was with a light was just very beautiful. So they carved this out of solid quartz and to make a very beautiful resting place for the Ark of the Covenant. And
But he never told you exactly where it was.
he never told us exactly where it was because he was afraid, because some people, it is said that there's been a few people who have actually died looking for it, and Dad thought that it would be very dangerous, and he warned his wife at the time, and
he told us when he was real sick before he couldn't make it back over here, and he told us that he was worried about people's safety is what it was. He didn't want somebody coming in there for the wrong reason and ended up,
because something this important, God knows when he wants it to be shown to the world, and we don't. And Dad didn't want people to try to force it on God to show it now when the timing has to be perfect to save as many souls as possible, because that's what God is all about. And when the 10 Commandments do come out and are shown to the world, I think that a lot of people are going to be ready and to need to know the truth about the Bible and the 10 Commandments and how they were written on the tables of stone. My dad said that it actually looked like a finger in soft butter was how it was written, and so it's going to be very awesome when those are brought forth, to see the finger that wrote that,
You know, you talk about the cutouts. Is this what you see? Some of them over there. You know,
yes.
It looks like they have cut in the.
Yes, there's
wall.
one here. It's
Yeah.
kind of flat there, and then there's one down lower,
Yeah.
right there, behind
Because
those
I've never
two
seen
beams.
that before, because it was under the ground before.
Yeah, parts of it, because our field dirt
Yeah.
raised up the level of it. And I believe possibly they were looking for the 3 cross holes by digging so far over. I hope that those weren't destroyed as well or lost
But some of
in
it
their
is
effort.
gone. After your opinion, some
Yes.
of the cross holes are gone here.
At least I know
Just
one.
One here.
The one that had the plug and the Tiberius coin
It's gone.
And the last I heard, they didn't know where it is, if they've located it. The archaeological people who came here, if they did recover it again, they haven't mentioned it to us. I hope they do find it. And
Would you recognize the stone?
oh yeah,
And you can't see it.
and no, it's not here. And the pictures he showed me of his dig when they got back after September 2006, he come to my house. One of the fellows who was digging here wanted to show me the pictures of the dig and to ask my opinion on some things, some film that was taken of my dad years ago, and what he was doing. And in one of the pictures, the cross hole was still there in the tunnel where we had left it, and in 2005 when I was here, it was still there. People were sitting on it when they took a break. The workers, every time when they got tired, they would just go sit on it. And
You saw that?
yes,
And you didn't say anything?
I didn't say anything because I felt like that if God wanted them to find it, that he would show it to them. And why why would I show him when he could have easily showed it to him if that was his will?
Yeah.
All I did is I prayed for God's will on that dig, and sincerely and honestly prayed for his will to happen, and if it was his will for them to find it, that they find it. But obviously it wasn't his will at the time, and it's hard to know what God's reasons and purposes are for us, because we're just human. And he's our Savior and was here from the beginning. And
he knows the right time it needs to come out. So.
But I don't think that the people digging here took very much care in what they were doing. It just looks like a mess down there to me. And hopefully someday in the future someone will be able to go and retrieve the 10 Commandments out of the chamber. And when they do, my dad left some things in there just to show what he said was true, that he was in there with it and that he saw the Ark of the Covenant. And so he left a piece of a pomegranate and some actual videotapes. So, I mean, I'm sure they're probably ruined by now from the moisture, but
somebody gets back in there.
at some point,
Sorry.
oh,